Elon Musk is one of the most influential men on the planet. Founder of Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and other companies that sound like science fiction. But people always ask, what's the real secret behind his success? Some think it's luck. Others believe it's money or intelligence. But the truth goes much deeper. Elon's real secret is his mindset. While most people focus on what's possible, Musk focuses on the impossible. When the world said rockets could only be used once, he asked, what if we make them reusable? With SpaceX, he proved it could be done, rewriting the history of space exploration. When everyone believed electric cars had no future, he bet everything on Tesla. Today, the entire auto industry is trying to catch up. Another part of his secret is his ability to learn. Musk doesn't limit himself to one field. He studies physics, programming, engineering, and business. He doesn't wait to become an expert. He learns enough, and then he acts. But maybe the most powerful secret of all is his relationship with failure. Musk has lost money, faced bankruptcy, and watched rockets explode again and again. And still, he moved forward. For him, failure isn't the end. It's just part of the journey towards success. In the end, Elon Musk's secret isn't magic or natural talent. It's vision, constant learning, and the courage to attempt what others believe is impossible. And that's the lesson. If you want to change your life, or even the world, don't be afraid to dream big, to keep learning, and to fail as many times as it takes. They say that the greatest ideas often look ridiculous at first, until they change the world. More than 130 years ago, a man was called crazy for putting an engine inside a carriage. Today, that experiment is the foundation of one of the most powerful industries on Earth, the automobile industry. And at the heart of this story lies a name we all recognize: Mercedes-Benz. But how did it go from being a small workshop in Germany to becoming the global symbol of luxury, innovation, and power? Part 1. The world's first car. In 1886, Carl Benz patented the motorwagen. Many dismissed it as useless, slow, noisy, and too expensive. But his wife, Bertha Benz, believed in it more than anyone. One day, without telling him, she secretly took the car and made the first long-distance journey in history, over 100 kilometers. Along the way, she had to refuel at pharmacies because gas stations didn't exist yet, and she repaired the vehicle several times with her own hands. That journey wasn't just a trip, it was proof that the invention could actually work in real life. The lesson is clear. Sometimes the best marketing isn't advertising, it's showing the world that your product works. Part 2. Two paths that crossed. While Carl and Bertha were pushing forward elsewhere in Germany, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach were building their own engines. At first, they were rivals, but both shared the same vision: a world moved by automobiles. Decades later, their companies merged, creating the brand we now know as Mercedes-Benz. The insight is powerful. Fierce competition can turn into strategic alliance when the vision is bigger than the ego. Part 3. The birth of a brand. The name Mercedes didn't come from an engineer. It came from a little girl, Mercedes Jelinek, daughter of an ambitious businessman who was selling Daimler cars. Her father invested heavily, but with one condition: the cars had to carry her name. And so Mercedes was born, a name that sounded elegant, international, and powerful. It's proof that branding can be just as valuable as technology. The name itself creates emotion, trust, and desire. Part 4. The star that rules land, sea, and air. The famous logo, the three-pointed star, wasn't a coincidence. It represented Daimler's ambition to conquer land, sea, and air with their engines. It was more than a logo. It was a statement of intent. Every great brand needs a symbol that reflects its ambition and vision. Part 5. Mercedes and endless innovation. Mercedes was always one step ahead. The first mass-produced car, the first vehicle with brakes on all four wheels, safety body structures that saved lives, breakthroughs in design, engines, and luxury. Each innovation reinforced its reputation. The message is clear. True success isn't about innovating once, it's about making innovation your strategy forever. Part 6. Crisis, Wars, and Survival. The company survived 2 world wars, bombed factories, and economic collapse. Each time they fell, they rebuilt stronger. From a small German workshop, they became a global icon of excellence. Empires aren't built by avoiding crises, but by surviving them. Part 7. From the elite to global culture. Mercedes wasn't just selling cars, they were selling status. Owning a Mercedes meant you had made it. Presidents, artists, millionaires, all wanted that same star in their driveway. When your product becomes part of culture, you're no longer selling cars, you're selling a dream. Part 8. Mercedes today and the future. Today, Mercedes is leading the transition toward electric and autonomous vehicles. They face tough competition from Tesla, BMW, and others, but their essence remains the same: innovation, prestige, and luxury. The challenge is to stay relevant in a world that's changing faster than ever. And if history teaches us anything, it's that Mercedes always finds the road forward. Conclusion. More than a century later, Mercedes-Benz is far more than just a car company. It's a symbol of ambition, resilience, and vision. An empire that began with an invention people laughed at and ended up moving the entire world. Because Mercedes didn't invent luxury, they turned it into an eternal business on wheels. What if I told you that the man who built McDonald's wasn't actually its creator? What if he simply came, saw, took over, and became a billionaire? Welcome to a deep business analysis of The Founder, the film based on the true story of Ray Kroc, the man who turned a small family burger joint into the most powerful fast food empire in history. But the path wasn't clean. It was full of betrayal, manipulation, brilliant strategy, and ruthless decisions.
Anybody? Opportunity. It's opportunity. Opportunity. Opportunity to advance, to move forward, to move up, to advance, to succeed, to win, to step up. The sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Grab the brass ring. Give yourself a shot at the American dream. Put your arms around the American dream. Opportunity. Because I'll tell you something, at McDonald's, just like this great nation of ours, some of that elbow grease, guarantee you, if you've got the guts, you got the gumption, you got the desire, I guarantee you, you can succeed. There's gold.
1950s. America. Suburbs are booming, car culture is growing, and fast service is becoming the new norm. Ray Kroc, a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman, a failure by all traditional standards. But he had one weapon: persistence.
Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck does a 52-year-old over-the-hill milkshake machine salesman build a fast food empire with 1,600 restaurants in 50 states, 5 foreign countries, with an annual revenue of in the neighborhood of $700 million? One word: persistence.
The McDonald brothers, Richard and Maurice, Dick and Mac, owners of a small restaurant in San Bernardino, California. They created a unique fast service system called the Speedy System. Ray gets an unusual order: 6 mixers from one restaurant. Curious, he drives to California to see it for himself. And what he witnesses amazes him. The line moves lightning fast. Food is ready in 30 seconds. The kitchen runs like a machine.
I saw a restaurant. I've never seen a restaurant like this in my life. They've got this fully automated system. I've never seen, it's called the Speedy System. Which is a good name for it because, man, it is speedy. I'm telling you, it's like something sprung from the mind of Henry Ford or something.
Lesson 1. Great ideas are often simple. The difference is how you execute them. Lesson 2. Don't stay stuck in the office. Go to the field. The real market lives outside presentations. Ray convinces the brothers to franchise. They agree, but under strict rules. Quality first, always. Ray starts opening new locations, but franchisees cut corners. Quality drops. Conflicts rise. You can't build an empire with people who don't share your vision. Lesson 3. Growth isn't just about scaling. It's about building control systems. Lesson 4. You can't grow with partners who fear growth. A financial expert, Harry Sonneborn, tells Ray,
"You don't seem to realize what business you're in. You're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business. You don't build an empire off a 1.4% cut of a 15-cent hamburger. You build it by owning the land upon which that burger is cooked. What you ought to be doing is buying up plots of land, then turning around and leasing said plots to franchisees who, as a condition of their deal, should be permitted to lease from you and you alone."
Ray starts a real estate company that buys the land under each McDonald's. Franchisees now lease from him. Lesson 5. The real business often hides behind the obvious product. Lesson 6. Want control? Own the foundations: land, brand, intellectual property. Ray begins to change everything: the restaurant design, menu, branding. He names himself the founder.
McDonald's can be the new American church.
He buys the company from the brothers for $2.7 million. He promises them 1% of future profits. Verbally, he never pays. Lesson 7. Never make verbal deals in big business. Always sign the contract. Lesson 8. Sometimes to build an empire, you must cut off the past. He built an empire, but left the original founders with nothing. Was he a hero or a traitor?
It's not just the system, Dick. It's the name. That glorious name, McDonald's. It could be anything you want it to be. It's limitless. It's wide open. It sounds like America. I remember the first time I saw that name stretched across your stand out there. It was love at first sight. I knew right then and there I had to have it. And now I do.
Lesson 9. History doesn't reward inventors. It rewards those who execute and scale. Lesson 10. Ethics are important. But in business, power and control often win. Top 10 entrepreneurial lessons from the founder. 1. Persistence is more powerful than talent. 2. An idea without scaling is just an idea. 3. The brand is more valuable than the product. 4. Own the assets, and you control the business. 5. Contracts are power, not just words. 6. Not all partners are allies. 7. The market rewards builders, not just inventors.
You know, contracts are like hearts. They're made to be broken. I want to take the future. I want to win. And you don't get there by being some aw shucks nice guy sap. There's no place in business for people like that. Business is war.
9. Use other people's weaknesses as your opportunity. 10. Don't be naive in big business. Do you want to be the inventor or the one who goes down in history? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, leave a comment, and share this video with fellow entrepreneurs. Subscribe for more real stories with real business lessons. Good artists copy, great artists steal. This phrase perfectly captures the essence of Steve Jobs. In 1976, a young visionary named Jobs, together with his engineer friend Steve Wozniak, founded Apple in his parents' garage in California. Their first project, the Apple I, was a simple handmade computer, but with a clear goal. making technology accessible and desirable to ordinary people. The next step was the Apple II, a personal computer that revolutionized computing and marked the beginning of Apple's path to greatness. Jobs didn't just build machines, he built experiences. His talent lay in seeing potential where others only saw circuits and code. Jobs understood that it wasn't always necessary to invent from scratch. Inspirations like the graphical interface and mouse from Xerox PARC were used by Jobs not to copy them directly, but to transform them into something revolutionary and functional for the mass market. This approach led to the creation of the Macintosh, the first personal computer with a graphical user interface designed for everyday users. Although it wasn't an immediate commercial success, it changed how people interacted with technology and laid the foundation for modern computing. In 1985, after internal conflicts, Jobs was forced out of Apple. But he didn't stop creating. He founded Next, a company focused on advanced computers, and acquired Pixar, revolutionizing digital animation with films like Toy Story. This period showed a fundamental truth. Jobs' creativity was not tied to one company. His genius lay in taking underestimated ideas and turning them into innovations that changed entire industries. In 1997, Jobs returned to Apple, which was then on the brink of bankruptcy. With the launch of the iMac, he regained public confidence and set the stage for a new era of iconic products. Jobs' vision was clear: elegant design, simplicity, and functionality. Every product had to be not only useful but desirable. His philosophy was reflected in every detail, from color to user interface. Jobs had learned that perfection came from combining technology with art, and that taking inspiration from others could be the key to success. The iPod transformed the music industry. Apple didn't invent the MP3 player, but it made it an intuitive and elegant experience that millions wanted. The iPhone changed mobile phones forever. Touchscreen phones already existed, but Jobs perfected them. Design, interface, and ecosystem were revolutionary. Then came the iPad, creating a new market no one had imagined. Each of these products demonstrates Jobs' philosophy. Take what exists, improve it, and turn it into something indispensable. The phrase, "good artists copy, great artists steal," wasn't just a mantra. It was how Jobs thought and innovated. His legacy isn't in isolated inventions, but in his ability to transform ideas, inspire millions, and change entire industries. Jobs showed that innovation doesn't always mean total originality. It's vision, courage, and the ability to make the ordinary extraordinary. Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, but his impact remains. Apple is today one of the most valuable and admired companies in the world, and his philosophy continues to inspire entrepreneurs and creators everywhere. Taking inspiration, improving ideas, and daring to innovate is the essence of Jobs' creative theft. His story reminds us that greatness doesn't always come from inventing something new, but from transforming what others didn't see as valuable into something the world will never forget. Good artists copy, great artists steal. What if I told you that everything you were taught about money, was wrong? We were raised to go to school, get good grades, land a secure job, save money, and hope to retire someday. But what happens when that system no longer works? Today we're diving into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the best-selling book by Robert Kiyosaki that has challenged that old narrative and awakened millions of people around the world. This book doesn't give you step-by-step instructions. It teaches you how to think differently about money, work, and financial freedom. Stay with me until the end. I'll share a personal reflection that could shift your financial mindset forever. Lesson 1. Financial education is real freedom. Have you ever been taught how to file taxes, how to invest, How credit cards really work? Or what compound interest actually means? Probably not. We were taught to memorize facts and formulas, but not how to survive in the real financial world. Kiyosaki learned the difference between wealth and struggle through two key figures. His poor dad, highly educated with degrees and a stable job, but always in debt. And his rich dad, with little formal education, but a sharp business mindset, investments, and financial freedom. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was the kind of education they pursued. Financial education isn't about making more, it's about managing smarter. Lesson 2. Don't work for money. Make money work for you. This may sound like a motivational quote, but it's actually a complete mental shift. As kids, we were told, go to school so you can get a good job. Work hard and hope for a raise. Play it safe. Don't take risks. But the rich don't think that way. They don't trade time for money. They invest their time in building systems, businesses, and assets that generate income, even while they sleep. Poor and middle-class people work for money. Wealthy people build assets that work for them. A regular employee might work 40 years just to get by. An investor might own 3 properties and live off the rent. Lesson 3. The Golden Rule. Know the difference between assets and liabilities. According to Rich Dad, true financial intelligence starts with one simple rule. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. But haven't we been told our whole lives that buying a home is an investment? Kiyosaki breaks that myth. A house you live in generates bills, mortgage, taxes, maintenance. It doesn't pay you. So by his definition, it's a liability. So what are assets? Rental properties, businesses that run without you, stocks or investments, intellectual property, books, music, online income streams, digital products, courses, affiliates. Wealthy people focus on building asset columns, not spending paychecks on things that lose value. Lesson 4. The system trains you to be an employee, not an entrepreneur. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job. But what happens when that job disappears, or when you're no longer able to work? The school system trains people to obey, not to question, to follow instructions, not to innovate. Kiyosaki says, school isn't bad, but it's not enough. There are skills that make the real difference in life, and you won't find them in a textbook. Emotional intelligence, risk-taking, abundance mindset, sales, and leadership. In short, you have to re-educate yourself if you want to be free. Lesson 5. Learn to sell, communicate, and negotiate. Rich Dad told Kiyosaki, if you want to be rich, learn how to sell. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer, a chef, a coder, or an artist. You need to know how to communicate the value of what you do, not just selling products, but selling ideas, solutions, and yourself. The most powerful financial skills aren't technical, they're personal. Persuasion, active listening, negotiation, self-marketing. Have you noticed how some people with less talent earn more? Just because they know how to present themselves? That's the difference. Lesson 6. Money doesn't make you rich. Your mind does. Kiyosaki repeats this often. The problem isn't money, it's how you think about money. People with a poverty mindset say, I can't afford that. People with a wealth mindset ask, how can I afford that? Fear, doubt, and lack of confidence are the biggest obstacles to building wealth. Changing your mindset isn't about becoming greedy. It's about taking ownership of your financial future. Lesson 7. Start small, but start now. No one is born rich, and you don't need thousands of dollars to begin. You can start by reading, saving, learning, paying off debt, creating a product, or buying your first small asset. The key is to take action, no matter how small, because money follows motion. And financial freedom doesn't come from excuses, it comes from commitment. If any part of this video made you think differently, don't let it be temporary inspiration. Grab a notebook and write down 1. What was your favorite lesson? 2. What is one change you'll make in your financial life this week? Wealthy people don't wait for perfect conditions. They learn, act, and adapt along the way. As Kiyosaki says, it's not what you do once in a while that makes you rich. It's what you do consistently. Subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who needs a financial wake-up call. And tell me in the comments, have you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? What lesson impacted you most? See you in the next video.